Lena stood by her bedroom window watching the quiet street outside. It was her 30th birthday and for once she didn't want to celebrate it with noise or drama. No clubs. No loud restaurants, she whispered to herself. Just peace. She had planned something simple, a dinner at her house with the people she had always put first, her family. The small white house she now owned was the biggest thing she'd ever done for herself. She bought it 2 years ago after landing a full-time job as a software developer at a well-known tech firm. The job paid well but most of the money didn't stay with her. She sent it to her parents. She helped her younger siblings with rent. Lena had always believed it was her duty. "You're the oldest," her mother used to say. "They look up to you." Lena believed her. Where are you watching from today? Kindly hit like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more. Ever since she was 16, Lena had worked. First as a waitress after school, then doing part-time jobs in college. Even when she got a scholarship, she still picked up freelance tech gigs to help her family. "You're so reliable," her dad would say, proud. "We can always count on you to hold us together." And so she did. She paid the mortgage on her parents' house. She covered half of her sister's rent. She helped her younger brother with his student loans. Lena never bought herself new clothes unless they were on sale. She hadn't been on vacation in years. Her co-workers would talk about spa weekends and beach trips. But Lena always smiled politely and said, "Maybe next year." But this year was supposed to be different. This year was supposed to be hers. She had planned every detail of her birthday dinner with care. It would be just her parents, her sister, her brother, and their partners. No big decorations. Just good food and warmth. She had ordered takeout from a nice local restaurant. Her mom's favorite chicken dish, her dad's favorite lasagna, salmon for her sister and steak for her brother. Even dessert. A rich chocolate cake with a gold 30 candle. "They're going to love it," Lena said, arranging the new plates she bought just for the occasion. She placed fresh flowers in a vase on the dining table and set out polished cutlery. She cleaned every corner of the house. For once she wanted things to feel perfect, like her efforts were finally being celebrated. 2 days before the big day, she sat at her desk going over her emails. That's when she saw it. A strange message from an address she didn't know. The subject line read, "For Lena." At first Lena thought it was spam. She almost deleted it. But something about the subject made her pause. She clicked it open. There was no message, just one sentence. "Watch this video and find out how your family really talks about you." Attached was a video file. Lena hesitated. Her finger hovered over the play button. Her chest tightened. "What kind of nonsense is this?" she muttered. Still, curiosity got the better of her. She hit play. The video was shaky, clearly recorded in secret, but she could make out the faces. It was her family, mom, dad, her sister Nora, and her brother Mike, sitting around a kitchen table. It looked like Nora's apartment. There were drinks, snacks, and loud laughter. Lena leaned closer to the screen. Her mom raised a glass of wine and said, "We only really like Lena when she sends us money." The room erupted in laughter. Lena blinked, confused. "What?" "Yeah," her dad chuckled, sipping his beer. "The more she pays, the more I like her." Nora laughed so hard she nearly choked. "She tries so hard to dress nice too. Poor thing. No fashion sense whatsoever." Lena looked down at her sweater and jeans. Simple. Comfortable. Was this how they saw her? Mike shook his head with a grin. "Can you believe she's throwing a birthday party at her house instead of booking a fancy restaurant? What's the point of having money if you're not gonna spend it on us?" Lena's throat tightened. Her sister added, "She's probably just afraid to be seen in public. She's so awkward around people." Again laughter. Lena pressed pause. Her eyes welled up. She'd believed they understood her, her quietness, her need for peace. But the people she loved most were mocking her behind her back. She had never felt so betrayed. Lena couldn't stop watching. As the video continued, her brother leaned back in his chair and said, "You know the best part? We don't even have to buy her nice gifts. I don't want to give her anything at all." Nora laughed. "Same here. Honestly, the money she sends barely covers what I need anyway. Just my rent and maybe a few hundred extra. Not enough for all the things I want." Lena's jaw dropped. She wasn't sending just a few hundred extra. She was sending almost $1,000 every month, on top of rent. Her mom chimed in as if discussing a serious matter. "We really need to figure out a way to make her feel guilty. If we play it right, she'll give even more. Then her dad raised his beer and said with a chuckle, "Here's to our little aim." They all clinked their glasses. Laughter filled the room again. Lena's stomach turned. When the video ended, the screen faded to black, but Lena couldn't move. He just sat there frozen. Her hands trembled, her face pale. The silence around her felt too loud. Her mind screamed with the voices she had just heard, her own family mocking her. For years she had believed she was doing something noble. She thought they respected her sacrifices, that they were grateful. But it was all fake. All a lie. Aim, she whispered to herself, voice shaking. That's what they called her. Not Lena. Not their daughter. Not their sister. Just a machine. A wallet. Why? She whispered, her voice barely audible. Why would they treat me like this? Her chest tightened, tears blurring her vision. The people she worked so hard for didn't love her. They just loved what she gave them. The betrayal burned hotter the longer she sat with it. Lena stood up from her desk, pacing the living room. Her thoughts raced. 16 years old. Her first job was at a burger place to help her parents pay bills. In college, while her classmates partied and traveled, she stayed up late coding for freelance clients just to send money home. She didn't go on trips. She didn't buy new clothes. She didn't even get takeout unless it was someone's birthday. And this was how they repaid her? Pathetic, her sister had said. No taste. Her fists clenched. All she had ever wanted was their approval. All she had ever received was fake affection. I won't let them get away with this, she said out loud. Not anymore. And for the first time in her life, Lena started making a plan that didn't involve anyone but herself. She grabbed her phone and called the one person she trusted outside her family, her boss. Hi David. It's Lena, she said, trying to steady her voice. Can I take 2 weeks off? Unpaid. I've just wrapped up the Jackson file and there's nothing urgent on my desk. There was a short pause. 2 weeks. That's not like you, David said kindly. Is everything okay? Lena hesitated. Not really. I just need to get away for a bit. Something personal came up. Of course, he said immediately. You've earned it. Take care of yourself, Lena. You've always been one of our most dependable people. Lena felt tears return, but this time they weren't from pain. Someone saw her, really saw her. And it wasn't her family. That night, Lena sat on her bed with her laptop open and her suitcase beside her. If I'm going to be selfish, she said with a bitter smile, then I'm going to do it properly. She searched flight sites, typing one word into the destination field, Hawaii. It had always been her dream, one she buried every time her family needed help. She found a flight leaving early on her birthday, 4 a.m. It was perfect. Then she booked the penthouse suite at the Royal Kailani Resort. It cost more than her rent for 2 months. She didn't blink. Happy birthday to me, she said. Then she picked up the phone and called the restaurant she had ordered food from for her family's dinner. Hi, this is Lena Carter. I placed a catering order for Saturday. The woman on the line confirmed it. Can I cancel? Lena asked. Oh, I'm so sorry, the woman replied. The food has already been prepped. We can't refund the deposit. Lena was quiet for a second. Okay, she said, a new idea forming in her mind. Don't cancel. I want you to deliver it, but not to me. Excuse me, the woman asked, confused. Please deliver it to the city shelter on Main Street. I want everything delivered there at 5 p.m. There was silence for a few seconds. That's very kind of you, the woman finally said. Are you sure? Lena nodded, even though the woman couldn't see her. Yes. Someone should enjoy it. She hung up the phone, her heart pounding, but this time it felt different. Lighter. Like she was finally doing something that actually meant something. But Lena wasn't done yet. She picked up her phone again and called a locksmith. Hi, I need the locks on my house changed first thing tomorrow morning. The man on the line said he could come at 8 a.m. Lena confirmed the time and gave her address. It's urgent, she said. Someone has keys who shouldn't anymore. After that, she opened her banking app and reviewed all the automatic transfers she had set up over the years. Her parents' mortgage, her sister's rent, her brother's allowance. She didn't cancel them yet, but she stared at the numbers, burning every detail into her memory. Tomorrow, she whispered, everything changes. By the time she climbed into bed, it was past midnight. Her suitcase sat zipped by the door. 3 alarms were set. She would sleep for just a few hours. At 2 a.m. it would all begin. At exactly 2 a.m., Lena woke up without hitting snooze. Her mind was sharp, her heart ready. She got dressed, grabbed her suitcase and called a ride to the airport. The streets were quiet, the city asleep. Her driver didn't ask any questions and she didn't offer any answers. She stared out the window, breathing in the silence. When they pulled up to the airport, she stepped out and whispered, "Goodbye." Not just to the driver but to the Lena who had always put others first. She checked in, passed through security and sat at her gate in complete silence. A couple sat near her, laughing together. An older man was snoring 2 rows away. But Lena didn't hear them. All she could think about was how her family would arrive later that day, at a locked house with no food and no explanation. By the time her plane landed in Hawaii, the sun was shining over blue waters. Lena stepped off the plane and felt the warm breeze wrap around her like a hug. "So this is what peace feels like," she whispered. She took a taxi to the resort and when she walked into the marble lobby she gasped. The floors gleamed. Huge flower arrangements filled the space with color. The front desk clerk smiled brightly. "Welcome to the Royal Kailani. Miss Carter, right? Happy birthday." Lena grinned, surprised. "We have the penthouse suite ready and a bottle of champagne waiting for you," the clerk added. Lena's heart fluttered. "Thank you." For the first time in her life she was celebrating her birthday exactly the way she wanted. Alone, peaceful and surrounded by beauty that didn't ask her for anything in return. Her suite took her breath away. The windows stretched from floor to ceiling, overlooking the ocean. The living room was bigger than her entire house. There was a handwritten birthday card and a silver ice bucket with champagne. Lena poured a glass, stepped onto the balcony and raised it toward the endless sky. "Happy 30th, Lena," she whispered. "You finally did something just for you." She spent the day walking along the beach, eating fresh seafood and swimming in the warm ocean. She bought herself a designer swimsuit from the hotel boutique, something she would have called wasteful a year ago. But not today. Around noon her phone buzzed with birthday wishes from friends and coworkers. But the texts she truly wanted were coming later. The ones from the family who had no idea their favorite ATM had finally shut down. At exactly 5 p.m., Lena's phone began ringing. First it was her mom. Then her dad. Then Nora. Then Mike. One after the other. Lena lay on the king-sized bed, scrolling through the caller IDs, not answering a single one. Her champagne glass was on the nightstand and her second glass was half gone. "They must be standing at the door by now," she said aloud, smiling to herself. After 10 minutes the calls stopped. Then the texts began. "Mom, Lena, we're at your house. Where are you? Dad, we're on the porch with gifts. Is everything okay? Nora, this better be some kind of joke. I made brownies." Lena couldn't stop laughing. Not bitter laughter this time, freeing laughter. She pictured them standing outside, dressed up, holding a bottle of wine and homemade dessert, completely unaware that the locks had been changed, the house was empty, and the food they were expecting had been sent to the city shelter. Another message came in from Mike. "Where the hell are you? We're freezing out here." She sipped her drink and texted back just one line to her mom, "Away from my toxic family." Then for good measure she attached the video file. The same one that had ruined her illusions, the one that had set her free. After that she placed the phone screen down on the bed. It stayed quiet for almost 40 minutes. She watched the clock tick, knowing they were probably gathered in a panic trying to figure out what to say. Then finally the text started again. Her mom replied, "Lena, that video isn't what it looks like. We were joking. Please, let's talk about this." Her dad added, "We had too much wine. We didn't mean it. Please let us explain." Nora's message came through last. "If this is your way of punishing us, it's cruel. You could have just told us you were upset." Lena rolled her eyes. "Punishing you?" she said to no one. "You were punishing me for a decade and I didn't even know it." She opened her banking app and slowly, one by one, canceled every automatic payment. Mortgage, Nora's rent, Mike's allowance. It took less than 5 minutes. But it felt like breaking out of a prison. Then she sent her mom one final message. "I'm also ending all financial support. Don't contact me again." And with that Lena turned off her phone. The silence that followed was the most beautiful silence she had ever heard. No buzzing. No guilt. No obligations. That night she sat on the balcony of her penthouse suite, watching the sunset over the ocean. The sky was painted in colors too perfect to describe. Waves crashed in the distance. She wrapped herself in a soft robe and thought, this is what life is supposed to feel like. She didn't cry. She didn't shake. She just sat there calm and at peace. For the first time in years, Lena fell asleep without worrying about who needed her help next. The next 6 days were everything she never let herself have before. Lena walked barefoot on white sand beaches. She read books by the pool, not business manuals or tech blogs, but actual stories. She bought herself dresses that made her feel beautiful. She ate chocolate without counting the calories. She even got her hair done at the hotel salon and chose a bold cut she never would have tried before. Every time a moment of guilt tried to creep in, she shook it off. They don't deserve your worry, she told herself. They had years to appreciate you. They chose greed instead. On the 7th morning she turned her phone back on for the first time. It exploded with 43 missed calls and 68 messages. She deleted them all without opening a single one. Returning home felt different. Not because the city had changed, but because Lena had. Her taxi pulled into her driveway, and the house stood quiet under the afternoon sky. The new locks worked perfectly. No one had tried to break in. She rolled her suitcase inside, dropped it by the door and walked through the house slowly. Everything was clean, untouched, exactly how she left it. She walked upstairs and placed the new clothes she bought into her closet. She filled the bathroom with new skincare and perfume. She made herself a cup of tea and sat on the couch, finally realizing what she had done. She had cut the cord. She had chosen herself. It was terrifying and beautiful. But peace didn't last long. That evening, just as the sun began to set, there was a knock on her door. Loud. Persistent. Then voices. Lena, we know you're home. It was her dad. Please just let us talk, her mom cried. Come on, Lena, Nora yelled. This is ridiculous. Mike shouted next. You've made your point. Let's stop this now. Lena froze, heart pounding. But then she straightened her shoulders, walked to the door and said clearly through it, I told you I don't want to see any of you. If you don't leave, I'm calling the police. Silence. Then more pleading. We're sorry, Lena. We need you, her mom sobbed. You need my money, Lena snapped. That's not the same thing. Lena, please, her dad said. We love you. No, you don't, she replied, her voice ice cold. You love my money. I heard you say it. There was a pause. Then the knocking stopped. She waited. 1 minute. 2. Then slowly the sound of retreating footsteps. She turned up her music and walked away from the door. She didn't cry. She didn't second-guess herself. She felt strong. Stronger than she had ever felt before. It was the kind of strength that comes from finally telling the truth, even if it breaks you in the process. She made dinner, curled up on the couch and turned on a movie. The silence outside told her they were finally gone. For now. 2 weeks passed. Then one afternoon, Lena got a call from an unfamiliar number. She answered out of curiosity. Hi, Lena. It's me, Lisa. Lisa was Mike's girlfriend. The only one in her family who ever seemed kind. Hey, is everything okay? Lena asked cautiously. Lisa sounded nervous. Can we meet? Just for coffee. It's important. They picked a small cafe near Lena's office. The next day, Lena arrived first and picked a quiet table. Lisa walked in wearing a jacket too big for her and eyes full of worry. She sat down, avoiding Lena's gaze. Lena, she began, I have something to tell you and I don't know how you're going to feel about it. But I need to say it. Lena nodded, waiting. I'm the one who sent you the video, Lisa said. Lena blinked. You. Lisa nodded quickly. I was at Nora's place that night. I went to the bathroom and when I came out they were all talking about you. Laughing. Saying awful things. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So I took out my phone and started recording. Lena's eyes widened. Why would you send it to me? Lisa looked up, eyes glistening. Because you deserve to know. You work so hard. You give them everything. And the way they talk about you, it's disgusting. I couldn't let you keep living in that lie. Lena felt her throat tighten. She reached across the table and squeezed Lisa's hand. Thank you. That video changed my life. You have no idea. Lisa smiled softly. Maybe I do. Lisa took a deep breath. There's something else, she said. I broke up with Mike. Lena looked at her with quiet surprise. Lisa nodded. After I saw how he reacted when you cut off the money, I realized something. He didn't care that you were hurt. He only cared that the money stopped. Her voice trembled a little. He got angry, not sad. Angry that his rent wasn't covered anymore. Angry that his comfort was gone. That's not love. That's entitlement. Lena sat back in her chair, absorbing every word. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Lisa gave a small smile. Don't be. I think you saved me, Lena. I saw what they did to you and it made me realize what I was walking into. I could have spent years married to that kind of selfishness. The two women sat together for almost an hour, sipping their coffee and talking about healing. Lisa told Lena about how Nora, Mike, and their parents had tried to reach out to her too, hoping she'd talk Lena into changing her mind. They still think you'll come back eventually, Lisa said. They think you'll forgive them like always. Lena shook her head slowly. They never understood me. Not really. They just knew how to pull my strings. She paused. But that string is cut now. Before they said goodbye, Lena hugged Lisa tightly. You did something no one else ever did, Lena whispered. You saw me. Lisa smiled. I hope you never let anyone make you feel small again. Months passed and Lena kept living her new life. Her savings grew. Her heart healed. She started taking weekend trips to places she had only seen in magazines. She learned to enjoy silence, to spoil herself, to rest. Her coworkers noticed the difference in her. She smiled more. She dressed for herself. She even started mentoring a junior developer, something she always wanted to do. Her boss gave her more flexibility, offering remote days whenever she wanted. One day, Lena passed by a bakery and bought a small cake. No occasion, no party. Just because she wanted cake. She took it home and ate a slice on her porch under the sunset, barefoot and free. It was the happiest she had felt in a long time. Through mutual friends, she heard bits and pieces about her family. Without her support, her parents had to take on second jobs. Nora's boyfriend had moved out, unable to afford the apartment on his own. Mike was crashing on a friend's couch. They were all back together in the same house again, struggling. The old Lena might have rushed in to fix things. But the new Lena just nodded and moved on. They made their choices, she said aloud one day, watering her plants. And I made mine. The guilt that used to control her was gone. Replaced by clarity. She didn't owe them anything. Not her money, not her time, not even her forgiveness. Some bridges were meant to burn. Eventually, Lena found a new house in a quiet neighborhood on the other side of town. It was smaller but full of light. The backyard had fruit trees and space for her to breathe. As she signed the papers, she thought of the video Lisa had sent her. The moment her entire world had shifted. It was the worst and best thing, she said to herself. Worst because it showed me the truth. Best because it set me free. She moved in a month later, filled the walls with artwork she loved, and built a life that was finally her own. No more secrets. No more sacrifices for people who never gave back. Just Lena. Whole, healed and happy. One afternoon, Lena found herself sitting on her new porch with a cup of tea in hand. The sun filtered through the trees, casting golden light on her skin. A neighbor's child giggled nearby and wind chimes danced in the breeze. She didn't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. Not her worth. Not her loyalty. Not her love. Her phone sat beside her, silent. No desperate calls. No guilt-laced messages. Just peace. She thought about everything she had walked away from. All the years of being used. All the birthdays where she gave and got nothing in return. That version of her was gone now. In her place stood someone stronger, someone who had finally learned to protect her own heart. Later that night, Lena wrote something in her journal. Just a single sentence. I was never their ATM, I was their lifeline. And they chose to mock it. Then she closed the book, turned off the lights and went to bed with a smile. No pain. No anger. Just the quiet truth that she had finally set herself free. Whatever came next in life, she would face it on her own terms. And she would never again trade her peace for someone else's comfort. Moral lesson. True family is built on love, not obligation. Never let guilt trap you in a cycle of giving to those who only take. Remember to hit the like button, comment and subscribe to this channel for more of this.